Hello, this is Ali welcoming you to the 2152nd edition of the Enfield Talking newspaper, Dateline 19th of July 2018. The readers this week are Kitty, John and Ali, with Peter on the controls. And the editor was Phillip, and the production and distribution team is Jean and Lindsay. Our title music is Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Prix, Bernard Bouillon, Harry Breuer, and performed by Jean-Jacques Perret, and is used with his kind permission. Local news stories that we will be reading come from the Enfield Independent and the EN magazine, and are their copyright. The events information has been collated by us from other sources. The lead story this week is Back to Square One. Before the news, we have the sunrise and sunset times for the week beginning the 23rd of July, which are sunrise at 05:11 and sunset at 21:02. Do get in touch with us to share your own news and special announcements. We love to hear from you. If you have any comments about the Enfield Talking newspaper, please phone Diane de Jersey on 020-8805-6578. She is your listener's representative and will be pleased to help you. Now, Kitty will read the first item of local news.
Back to square one. The council's flagship regeneration project has suffered another setback after a second development partner announced it was pulling out. Pacific Century Premium Developments told the council it did not wish to proceed with the $6 billion Meridian Water project 8 months after it was appointed as preferred development partner. Following the announcement, the council said it no longer intends to work with a single master developer for the site. In a statement, Hong Kong-based PCPD said, subsequent to various discussions with the London Borough of Enfield, and notwithstanding the tremendous efforts being made by the company to meet the expectations of Enfield Council in the project, there remained substantial differences between the two sides. Therefore, the company has formally informed Enfield Council on July the 10th that it does not wish to proceed further with the project. Meridian Water, an 82-hectare development in Upper Edmonton, will provide 10,000 new homes, along with business space and transport links. The scheme suffered a major setback last year when Barrett Homes pulled out, with the council subsequently claiming the developer's plans offered a poor deal for residents. Conservative group leader Councillor Joanne Laban said PCPD's withdrawal meant it was back to square one for the project. She said, the scheme has been going on for a decade, and yet there are no homes to show for it. It's a sad day for young people who looked at that site as a potential home for the future. It's another example of council in chaos. But Enfield Council leader, Councillor Nezel Kaliskan, said the local authority would adopt a new approach to the regeneration scheme. She said the council had told PCPD that significant concerns remained over their proposed commercial and financial terms, specifically following PCPD's presenting to the council's new cabinet on June the 26th. Councillor Kaliskan added, although the discussions with PCPD were held in a great spirit of cooperation, we have been preparing for all eventualities, and reports are being presented to Enfield Council's Cabinet on July the 25th, which set out a clear strategy for accelerating delivery at Meridian Water. Our approach will also ensure that local people are the principal beneficiaries of the new homes and jobs that will be created.
Council leader blasts racist smear campaign. Enfield's council leader has hit out at a racist smear campaign that she claims lies behind recent media coverage of Labour's candidate selections for the local election. Councillor Nezel Kaliskan emailed members of the local Labour Party on Monday to defend the way the selection process was handled following the publication of an article in the Sunday Times containing allegations that the council had been taken over by a clan. She said the process took place in line with Labour Party rules, and candidates were interviewed by completely independent panels comprised of 3 Labour members from outside Enfield. Councillor Caliscan, who was secretary to the Labour's local campaign forum that oversaw the interview process, added that the choice of candidates for each ward was made by party members in that ward via the one member, one vote principle. In the email, the council leader states, "The claims being made amount to a series of smears with racist overtones. A number of complaints have been made to the Labour Party about discriminatory language and attacks towards the Turkish-speaking community. It has also emerged that a group of councillors from the Turkish, Kurdish, Alevi and Turkish Cypriot community contacted Labour's National Executive Committee, the NEC, to complain about alleged racism following media coverage of the dispute within the party over candidate selections. Their email states, "These accusations have no grounds and we do not want any further defamation of this specific community or our party. For that reason, we are calling on you to urgently investigate the selection process to bring out the truth in whatever has happened and to end the negative campaign against our party. We see this as the only way to protect our values of anti-racism, democracy and transparency that we hold dear to ourselves." It is signed by councillors Elif Erbil, Sabri Azadin, Tolga Aramaz, Sinan Boztas, Susan Erbil, Ergin Erbil, Uni Dogan, Gunnar Aydin, Ergen Eren, Saray Karakas and Hussein Isaac Akpinar. The Sunday Times article published on July the 15th reported allegations that the council had been taken over by a religious minority group and the extended family of a convicted criminal. It said several new councillors had family connections and that at least 6 current councillors were related to former councillor Nezimi Erbil, who was forced to stand down after being given suspended prison sentences for fraud in 2014 and a public order offence in 2016. Jenny Formby, General Secretary of the Labour Party, has emailed members stating, "It has been agreed to look into all of the complaints we have received with an objective of providing support."
Why are we doing more when we asked for less? Plans for blocks of flats rejected for being too big were resubmitted with 2 more stories on top. Councillors turned down plans for 2 blocks of flats containing 58 homes on the site of a pub in 4th Street, Edmonton, in October 2017. The 4- and 7-storey buildings were judged to be an overdevelopment, with not enough affordable homes or family units, lack of parking, and the loss of a public house. But the council's decision was overturned by the Planning Inspectorate. Councillors were dumbfounded when resubmitted plans were found to be larger and subject to similar problems. Speaking at a meeting of the Planning Committee last week, Councillor Jim Stephen, Conservative member for Town Ward, said, "The last one I objected to this because it was overdevelopment. And I look at it now and find out there's even more development than there was. Now we are putting more in when we said there were too many. Can somebody tell me why we are doing more when we asked for less?" Under the new proposal, 68 flats will be built in blocks of 2 and 9 stories, with commercial units, a pub and car parking at ground level. Plans for the site, which is next to a conservation area, have been redesigned to provide a greater volume of affordable homes and to make the building more attractive. Planning officers said they had to weigh up a wide range of factors when making a decision. And while the new scheme was larger, it would provide more public benefits. Councillors approved the plans by a large majority, with 8 voting in favour and 2 against.
Award-winning flower tubs were stolen over the weekend. The Lancaster Road United Reformed Church's garden was burgled twice over the weekend. The garden is nurtured by 87-year-old volunteer Peter Williams, and it previously won the competition Enfield in Bloom. Over Friday and Sunday, 8 large flower tubs were stolen. James Holliday, treasurer of the church, said, "The gardens of Lancaster Road United Reformed Church and also our hall gardens in Enfield Road are places of beauty that one volunteer keeps in tip-top shape, and we have the honour of winning prizes in Enfield in Bloom and other competitions during the year. I am very saddened that someone would steal from a church garden. The large tubs full of blooming flowers were very heavy, which left Mr. Holliday confused as to why someone would go through all the trouble. Mr. Holliday said, "I do wonder why someone would go to all this effort to destroy beautiful gardens." The church garden in particular is the only place in Lancaster Road where people can sit and enjoy the smell and the view of the flowers.
Daya is strong and determined. A baby with a form of cancer is battling against the odds. Diagnosed in August 2017 with a stage 4 metastatic cancer called neuroblastoma, Daya Amole from Enfield is just 21 months old. After 8 unsuccessful rounds of chemotherapy, she faces a new round of high-dose chemotherapy in the hope this reduces the cancer so that it can be operated on. Anu Amole, Daya's father, said, "Childhood cancer is a gut-wrenching experience. It is any parent's worst nightmare. Despite 8 rounds of chemotherapy, plus a current round of particularly intense high-dose chemotherapy, Daya is still a fun-loving toddler who remains strong and determined. The operation that Anu desperately wants for his little girl cannot be carried out in the UK, and so he needs to fundraise the cost to go to New York. Family have opened a crowdfunding page and raised £41,528, but only a portion of the money needed." He said, "We have been deeply moved by the kindness and generosity of spirit of so many friends and neighbours, and even strangers from the area. Daya is a Sikh name meaning compassion, and this has brought its own solace to us in this dark hour. If you would like to donate to the Amole family, please visit," now this is quite a long email address, www.justgiving.com/campaigns/charity/Daya-Amole, which is AMOLE, and Daya is DAYA.
Borough's first balloon festival. The borough is looking forward to its first balloon festival of fun. Organisers expect thousands to flock to the event organised by Showtime Events in Enfield Town Park on July the 21st and 22nd. David Bailey of Showtime Events said, "I'm really excited. It's going to be a fantastic festival of fun. I'm so thrilled to be doing this in Enfield, and all the hard work of so many people will be made worthwhile when I look around and see all our visitors enjoying themselves. Enfield is the perfect place to hold a festival and to launch the hot air balloons, which are truly an amazing sight to see. The response has been awesome, and I can't thank enough businesses and organisations who have supported us so enthusiastically, as have Enfield Town Council. The show is designed to appeal to all ages with stunt displays, animal shows, motorcycle displays,
Mayor
giant
and
fun
US
fair,
President
and a
clash.
bar and food
The Mayor
stalls.
of London defended protests against the US President, Donald Trump, saying that limiting the right to protest limits the right to free speech. Ahead of his visit to the UK, Mr. Trump told the Sun newspaper that the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, was accountable for the terror attacks in London. He blamed immigration for both the terror attacks and crime in the capital. But Mr. Khan hit back at the US President on BBC Radio 4's Today programme. Mr. Khan also defended allowing a giant balloon depicting Mr. Trump as an angry baby to fly near Parliament, saying, "I shouldn't be the arbiter as a politician of what's in good taste or bad taste. What's important is it has to be peaceful and for it to be safe." And frankly speaking, the idea that we limit the rights to protest, we limit the rights to free speech because it may cause offence to a foreign leader is a very, very slippery slope. Speaking about Mr. Trump's criticism of the mayor's record on knife crime, Mr. Khan told BBC Radio 4's Today programme, "I have seen no evidence that this crime has been brought in by immigration from Africa or other parts of the world to Europe." Speaking ahead of Mr. Trump's visit, Mr. Khan said, "Around the world, the far right and nationalist populists are on the rise. This has led to a constant focus on what divides us rather than what unites us, and the horrific scapegoating of some of our most vulnerable people in our societies. I know Londoners are resolutely opposed to the politics of fear and despair. The US has always stood by our side as a beacon for tolerance and respect. This protest is not anti-American, far from it. But having a special relationship means that we expect the highest standards from each other. And it also means speaking out when we think the values we hold dear are under threat."
Councillors criticise developer. Councillors have expressed outrage over plans to allow a developer that felled a tree illegally to build in a conservation area. The proposals involve building 5 family homes on the site of a former car park in Chapel Street, with 4 parking spaces provided on an area of green land, or greensward, that is currently owned by the council. At a meeting of the Planning Committee last week, councillors reacted angrily to the plans as it emerged the developer had already felled a tree without the council's consent. Councillor Mike Rye, Conservative councillor for Town Ward, raised doubts about whether the developer could be trusted to honour its commitments on parking and the re-provision of trees. The site lies within the Enfield Town Conservation Area, and the council's report said the tree would have been worthy of a tree preservation order. Officers told Councillor Rye that planning permission can be determined regardless of who owns a piece of land, and that the outcome of the application would be subject to a legal agreement between the council and developer. Councillor Rye said the issue was different in this case because it involved land under the council's ownership, and the council determines planning permission. He said, "I want to know the council's position on the greensward before we determine the application. Otherwise, the application should be deferred or withdrawn." Despite the objections, the development was approved.
New refuse collection vehicles. Enfield Council has taken delivery of 36 new state-of-the-art 26-tonne refuse vehicles to enable more economic and efficient refuse and recycling collection. Council estimates that a substantial proportion of the £5 million cost of purchasing the 36 vehicles will be saved through lower fuel and maintenance costs, the new vehicles being more fuel efficient than the existing fleet. They will be used for both residential and business refuse collections and residential recycling collections. Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Environment, Councillor Gooney Dogan, paid a visit to the Mawson Road depot to take a look at the new fleet. He said, "We are committed to providing a first-rate refuse and recycling service, and our new vehicles will enable us to do this more quickly and more efficiently than ever before. They will also enable us to make significant savings on our fuel and maintenance costs, which will enable us to divert that money into our
is
other
extremely
areas
concerning.
of our operation."
Burglary figures in Enfield have gone up by nearly 20%. New data from the Mayor's Office of Policing and Crime revealed that burglary went up by 19.4% in Enfield at the end of 2016 compared to the end of 2017. London Assembly member for Enfield and Haringey, Joanne McCartney, called the increase extremely concerning. She said, "Burglary can be an extremely traumatic experience for victims. Alongside the Mayor, I have been calling for the government to put an end to their sustained and ruthless cuts to the Met Police's budget, which have challenged their ability to robustly investigate incidents and bring perpetrators to justice. Since 2010, government funding to the Metropolitan Police has been cut by $700 million, and their overall budget is $3.3 billion. The number of police officers in London has also dropped below 30,000 for the first time in 15 years. Ms. McCartney added, "With statistics like these, it is clear that the government needs to wake up to the palpable reality that in order to protect the public, the police need to be adequately resourced. In London as a whole, burglary has gone up by 5.9% from the end of 2016 to the end of 2017. In February this year, the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, announced he would invest an extra $110 million into the Metropolitan Police.
We need a candidate who really does represent the people. A Conservative politician has said that the next Mayor of London should be able to really represent the people, as the selection campaign for their party candidate begins. The Conservative Party is preparing to elect a candidate for the next mayoral election. The party committee will look through applications and whittle the number of candidates down to between 8 and 10 before choosing 3 contenders following interviews. Finally, all members of the Conservative Party will elect a candidate who they are hoping will be announced at the Tory party conference in October. Writing to members of the Conservative Party, Mr. Prince said that those working at City Hall have seen the complete and utter mess that Sadiq Khan is making of running London. The London Assembly member for Havering and Redbridge, Keith Prince, told the BBC, We need a candidate that really does represent the people and who is not on an ego trip, someone who wants to protect people. Speaking about the letter, Mr. Prince said, people are sick of crime in the capital, rises in moped crime, burglaries and knife crime. It just goes on and on. I think people are very disappointed. The next mayoral election will take place in May 2020, during which candidates will be campaigning for the right to become mayor beforehand. Mr. Prince thinks that the chances for a Tory party candidate to be the next mayor of London are improving by the day. He said the Conservatives are a party of law and order. Mr. Prince said he will not be running as a candidate, as he would prefer to stay at the Havering and Redbridge Assembly member. But London Assembly members Sean Bailey and Andrew Boff have both put themselves forward to be the next Conservative Party mayoral candidate. Mr. Boff said, I think London needs someone who knows how the city works and knows the kind of challenges that the city needs to make London a better place. Mr. Boff said that there needed to be some radical solutions to make London a better place. He was quick to criticise Mr. Khan for a number of problems in the capital, including the current housing crisis, as well as the ultra-low emissions zone, or ULEZ. Mr. Boff said, if I become the Mayor of London, I will ban tower blocks in outer London. I want nothing above 6 stories. Commenting on the ULEZ, he added, we want to move away from the idea of artificial zones and clean up the transport network. I will be excluding any bus that emits diesel from coming into central London. Mr. Boff also blamed drugs for the rise in violent crime in the capital and said that, as mayor, he would be lobbying the government to have cannabis legalised.
Enfield Charity receives £1,000. A charity in Enfield for blind and visually impaired people is to receive £1,000 as students showed their support to 3 good causes. Enfield Vision was chosen to receive the cash after a winning presentation by students at the College of Haringey, Enfield and North East London, otherwise known as CONEL. They were taking part in the First Give programme, which encourages young people to give their time and talent to help improve their community. 2 other student presentations made cases for Haringey Migrant Support Centre and disabled children's charity Beis Shelley in Stamford Hill for the cash. A panel of judges decided on the charity to receive the donation after watching the presentations by English for speakers of other languages students. Student Rosarin Arslan, 16, said, it's great that the £1,000 will be going to our charity. People were so kind and gave money which will really help them. It feels really good to have done something very positive to help people that are not as fortunate as myself. During each of the presentations, the students spoke about the work of their chosen charities through audience participation, videos, music and role play, and explained how they would spend the £1,000. They also revealed how they had already raised money through donations and fundraising events such as cake sales and sports matches. Manager for First Give, Peter Coe, said, thank you to all of you, what has obviously been a lot of hard work. All of the judges were very impressed, and it was such a difficult decision to make. Enfield Vision hosts drop-in sessions at Park Avenue Resource Centre, Bush Hill Park, on the first Monday and third Thursday of each month. It provides free weekly Braille lessons and IT training at Community House in Edmonton, bowls matches with Enfield Visually Impaired Bowls Club, as well as arranging trips to the theatre and other places.
A crackdown on people in Hertsmere who fiddle their council tax bills by fraudulently claiming they lived alone has been launched. Currently, around 13,000 people in the borough have their council tax bill reduced by 25% because they are the only countable adult at the property. But a proportion of the applications of single-person discounts, SPDs, are not genuine, or the council has not been notified of a change in circumstances. Claiming a discount where there is no entitlement results in incorrect bills being issued and an underpayment of council tax. Council will be undertaking an in-depth review from this month to root out those who are taking advantage of the system and underpaying their council tax bill. Council tax is the main source of funding for the police, fire and rescue service, Hertfordshire County Council, the Borough Council, and town and parish councils. It helps pay for vital services such as schools, housing, parks, waste management, and much, much more. Councillor John Graham, Portfolio holder for finance and property, said, "The majority of people in the borough pay their council tax correctly, but there are people who claim a discount where there is no entitlement. We, as the local authority responsible for collecting council tax, have to take into account exemptions and discounts when we work out the council tax charge per household each year. Because of those people who pay less when they shouldn't, genuine taxpayers have to pay more, which isn't fair. As part of the review, data from SPD claimants will be cross-matched with information from a credit rating bureau. If evidence is found of multiple occupancy, then the resident will receive a letter warning them that the discount will be removed and that they will have to pay back the money they owe. Tax cheats who do not respond or who refuse to comply could face prosecution in court." Councillor Graham added, "We understand that in some cases false claims will have been made unintentionally, and we want to work with residents who are genuinely unsure about their council tax obligations. Hertsmere residents expect value for money, and we are committed to stamping out fraud for the good of everyone in the borough." For more information about the Single Persons Discount Review, please visit our website www.hertsmere.gov.uk/SPD review, or to find out more about council tax, visit www.hertsmere.gov.uk/council tax.
And I have an article by Emma Ellsworthy under the heading, "How much will the school summer holidays cost?" The summer holidays will cost hard-up parents of teens more than £600 per child, according to research. A poll of 1,000 parents of 16 and 17-year-olds found entertainment for just 1 week during the summer holidays will cost on average £103.11 per child. Added up over the standard 6 weeks of summer holiday, that comes to a whopping £618.66 for each child in the family. In fact, many parents believe up to 20% of their household income will be spent on their teens over the summer break. The study was conducted by the National Citizen Service, or NCS, a summer programme which, for just £50, helps 16 and 17-year-olds gain confidence, build life skills, and become more active citizens in their communities. A spokesman for NCS said, "As the long summer holidays approach, parents are keen to see their teens move away from their screens and find activities which won't break the bank, but will ensure they continue learning and developing during their time off." When asked to compare with the rest of the year, 73% of parents said they spend more on entertaining teens in the summer than any other time. In fact, 58% of parents admitted to worrying about having enough money to entertain their teens over the summer holidays, and a quarter said they believe they spend too much cash on keeping their teens happy during the long break. The research also found that parents' top worry is that their teens will waste their summers scrolling through social media. More than half of mums and dads, 53%, also worry their teens will spend their time off school being unproductive. It also emerged that 7 in 10 parents say their teens are likely to complain about being bored during the summer holidays. On average, they're likely to speak the two dreaded words, "I'm bored," less than 14 days into their break from school. But they're not just being difficult. The study also polled 1,000 teens aged 16 and 17 and found that 36% wish their parents would entertain them more when they're off school. The NCS spokesperson added, "The NCS programme costs just £50 with bursaries available upon request. 2 weeks are spent living away from home, and that £50 covers all meals, accommodation and activities. With summer holidays set to cost parents over £100 per week per child, this once-in-a-lifetime experience will not only save you money, but, most importantly, your teens will build skills to aid their future success." There are still places available for 16 and 17-year-olds across the country to take part in the programme. To find out more and sign your teen up, go to www.ncsys.co.uk.
How to keep your garden in shape while you're on holiday. Going away on holiday is always a headache for gardeners who fear their container plants will frazzle in the heat. So what measures can you take to protect your plants while you're away? 1. Find a friendly neighbour. Get a friend or relative to water your plants for you while you're away, preferably a neighbour who can pop in daily. If you're growing fruit and veg, reward them with some of your harvest or give them some cut flowers from your garden as a thank you on your return. 2. Huddle containers. Patio containers are among the trickiest elements to sustain if you don't have someone to do your watering, as they rely totally on you for their moisture. You'll need to give them a thorough soaking before you go away, and then put them in saucers in the shade, huddled together to create a microclimate and increase humidity. If you didn't put water-retaining gel into the compost initially, then lift the compost and plant out carefully, if you can, adding some of the crystals to the compost. Deadhead the plants thoroughly before you go, even removing the flowers which are just in bud, as this encourages further growth. 3. Take down baskets. Hanging baskets are the most vulnerable containers while you're away, as they dry out very quickly. So take them down and dig a hole in a shady border to sit the basket in, giving the basket and the surrounding soil a really good soak before you go. 4. Use capillary matting. With indoor plants, place a piece of capillary matting in the bottom of the kitchen sink, bath, or a tray, and give it a good soaking. Then place smaller pot plants on it, which should soak up the moisture in their roots. You can also use capillary matting with small outdoor pot plants, grouping them on one end of a sheet of saturated capillary matting and dipping the other end into a bucket of water, so that plants slowly wick up the water as they need it. 5. Install irrigation. There are many irrigation systems on the market, some which can be controlled by an app with high-tech sensors which assess the soil dryness and can tell when plants need watering. 6. Freeze or call in a favour for fruit and veg. Water everything thoroughly before you go and keep your fingers crossed that fruit and veg will be in good shape when you return. Cook as much as you can a couple of days beforehand and freeze what you can't use. 7. Don't worry about established shrubs and lawns. Your lawn may look tatty when you get home, but it will recover when the autumn rain comes. Also, established trees and shrubs should be able to find water.
As part of the 400-year Royal Charter celebrations, the Old Enfield Charitable Trust are once again hosting the hugely successful Marketplace Beach for the community. From July the 19th to the 28th, 10 tons of play sand with sleepers around, deck chairs and tiki bar will create an oasis of fun for the local community, beside the square's food court and market stalls. The beach opens every day, 9 till 4, with the usual surf-in sounds, face painting, beach games and live music each Saturday. Togger's Fun Fair will be featuring a water ride on the marketplace alongside the beach from Sunday, July the 22nd to Wednesday the 25th. The Trust have invited Zebra's Children's Charity and Cheviot's Children's Centre for a free outing on the Fun Fair rides, as well as the usual hosted entertainment on the beach. These charity days are sponsored by Metaswitch and Robert Cogger. So, grab your beach gear and join us every day free. Bucket and spades provided.
New Information and Advice Service. An information and advice service called Enfield Connections, funded and supported by Enfield Council, is available to help residents in their daily lives no matter what they require. Enfield Connections will cater for residents who need information, support and advice, be it for later life plannings, homelessness, support, help with volunteering or anything as simple as their local GP's opening hours. Enfield Connections is being delivered in partnership with Enfield Disability Action, Age UK Enfield, Mind in Enfield, Citizens Advice Enfield and the Homeless Resource Centre. And through these partners, Enfield Connections will provide accessible services to all residents, including those with hearing impairments, disabilities and the elderly community. Local residents can contact Enfield Connections through telephone, email, next generation text service, SMS and face-to-face. Face-to-face appointments can be booked by contacting Enfield Connections via telephone. Enfield Connections Programme Manager, Kahintola Kolawole, said the service is bringing strong support to the community. Enfield residents can benefit greatly from accessing Enfield Connections, and we aim to maintain and deliver an efficient and high standard of service for the entire community, as Kolawole said. We are committed to working with local charities and with Enfield Council to ensure Enfield continues to have a thriving and sustainable voluntary and community sector which supports local residents. Enfield Connections is available to call from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday and can be contacted by residents on 0203 960 0129 or info@enfieldconnections.org. Alternatively, residents can call 18001 followed by 077 4164 7569 to access the Next Generation text service. And I'll just repeat that one because it's a bit long. It's 18001 followed by 077 4164 7569. Outside of these times, people can leave Enfield Connections a message and they will be contacted later during business hours.
On Friday the 27th of July at 10 a.m, the Local Studies and Archive Centre presents Archives in Focus, Family History Sources for Enfield. This is at the Dugdale Centre and will be led by John Clark, Local Studies Officer. He says, join us on the first floor for this great 45-minute long tour of the local studies and archives. You'll be shown a variety of highlights from the collections relating to family history sources for Enfield. Tickets are £3 and booking is advised as there is limited availability. You can get them from www.millfieldtheatre.co.uk box office. I'm not sure that that's correct. I think box office should have been separate. The phone number for the box office is 0208 807
As the nation looked to the skies last week to see the RAF's most historic and newest aircraft fly over Buckingham Palace, it was a moment to pause and reflect on the sacrifices made by all RAF personnel during 100 years of the service. The flypast also marked the midway point for the RAF 100 appeal, a major fundraising drive launched by the RAF and its four main charities. The RAF 100 appeal brings together the Royal Air Force, the RAF Association, the RAF Benevolent Fund, the RAF Charitable Trust and the RAF Museum to establish a legacy that matches the vision of Viscount Trenchard, who steered the formation of the RAF in 1918. The appeal encourages the British public to get involved in the celebrations and help repay the debt we owe and help to raise funds for the past, present and future RAF family, inspiring, honouring and supporting all who have given so much. The centenary year of the Royal Air Force provides a unique opportunity to commemorate the service and the sacrifice of those who have gone before. Very few British people can look back at their family history over the past 100 years and find themselves untouched by the courage, capability and achievements of the men and women who served and continue to serve in our Royal Air Force. The RAF 100 appeal provides an opportunity to show their appreciation and help support RAF charities. People like Battle of Britain veteran Stan Harthill, who serviced the Spitfires night after night during the Second World War, who lives in comfort and dignity thanks to the RAF Benevolent Fund, one of the appeal charities, or Mike Goody, injured while on patrol with the RAF regiment in Afghanistan, whose home adaptations have given him back his independence. As we look towards the next 100 years for the Air Force, it is my wish the legacy of this milestone will be to ensure their sacrifices are not forgotten. Their memories live on to inspire the next generation. The RAF 100 appeal will support tens of thousands of individuals, young people, serving personnel and veterans. To find out more or get involved, visit www.raf100appeal.org. And that was from Simon Collins, Chairman of the RAF 100 Appeal.
Festival returns this weekend. Interest in this Saturday's livestock music festival at Forty Hall Farm has reached record levels, with almost 1,500 advance tickets being sold for the annual event. The community-organised not-for-profit festival features more than 20 acts on 3 separate stages, complete with bars, food stalls and children's entertainment. Among those being welcomed back this year are the ever-popular ska pop outfit, the Kubricks, topping the bill on the main feel-good stage, Spirit of Springsteen, Desarian, California Screaming and Boom La Tête. More than 2/3 of the performers are new to livestock. They include Sydney-born alternative rock singer Susie Stapleton, Josephine and the Artisans, a unique blend of hip-hop rap and symphonised operatic chorals, Mojo Rising, who kicks off proceedings with their reworkings of disco, soul and funk classics, Blackwater County, whose friended multi-instrumental dual-vocal folk-punk live show is the stuff of legend, and the irrepressible 9-piece Fun King Bar Stewards, personal favourites of the late great Edwin Starr, who will take you through a 1970s disco journey. The quality and variety of this year's livestock is second to none, says festival organiser Leon Wilkin, who helped found the event 7 years ago. We look set to break our attendance record. Among the regular visitors to livestock is Councillor Christine Hamilton, the former Mayor of Enfield, and a massive music fan. I'm so looking forward to it, says Christine. I've been to every one. The talent is simply incredible, so come and have an amazing day in beautiful surroundings. Being very much a community event, Livestock has decided to donate part of its takings to a charity, Friends of Enfield Music Service. A division of Enfield Council, Enfield Music Service, supported by the Arts Council, offers inspiration and opportunities for children and young people throughout the borough, working with schools and families to provide the best musical experiences in a range of settings. It includes instrumental lessons to thousands of children and young people, including those with special educational needs. Another innovation this year is a raffle, proceeds from which will go back into the festival and its monthly spin-off, Music from the Black Barn, which is also at Forty Hall. Without giving too much away, there are plans for a Tottenham Hotspur legend to hand out the prizes. Advance tickets are still on sale from livestockuk.com.
Rugby club seeking more players for new campaign. Training numbers, please Ignations coach Manning. Shane Manning is very happy with the commitment shown by the Enfield Ignations players 3 weeks into pre-season. New Zealand head coach said, "The numbers have been good, and in some cases we've had up to 60 players at one of the 2 weekly training sessions. Primarily, we've been working on our fitness and our attacking structure, after which we will turn our attentions to doing contact work." Ignations are also keen to recruit as they bid to improve on last year's 10th place in London 2 North West. The club, which runs 3 senior teams and an occasional veterans side, caters for players of all abilities and potential. New recruits to the senior section are asked to call 07432 118352 in the first instance. For the youth section or minis, ring 07432
Barnes lose to Amidy's last overburst. Dramatic victory for leaders. Enfield remain at the top of Middlesex County League Division 2 after securing a thrilling victory at Barnes with just 2 balls to spare on Saturday. Winning the toss and batting first, Enfield found it tough going as they lost both openers Sam Smythe, 0, and Les Edwards, 16, cheaply. After wicket-keeper Chris Long fell for 12, Rehan Hassan, 33, rebuilt the innings alongside Ayush Sahota, 27. But their hopes were firmly in the balance at 114 for 5. Enter Kyle Bacchus-Brown, who produced a captain's innings to ensure his side posted a competitive total. However, he would be denied a well-deserved century when he was trapped leg wicket before by James Alder, 4 for 41, 99. The skipper had received useful assistance in the form of a 7th wicket partnership of 80 with Faisal Mir, 39 not out, and an earlier 21 from Asad Shah, with Enfield subsequently declaring on 273 for 8 to give themselves a full 52 overs to try and bowl out Barnes and claim victory. In reply, Alder followed up his heroics with the ball to punish any width on offer as Barnes began their innings in a promising fashion. The opening partnership of 64 was broken, however, as Tom Bolt found the edge of Chris Chambers' bat and the ball fell straight to Captain Bacchus Brown for the catch. Soon after, a stunning catch at short leg did for Barnes skipper Dean Bedson, who won off the bowling of Dan Amity, the first of his 6 scalps. But with the 100 brought up from the loss of just 3 wickets, victory looked quite unlikely for Enfield at that stage. Amity had other ideas with an inspired spell to rip through the Barnes middle order. Hassan then lured key man Alder into a loose drive to tilt the game in Enfield's favour at 162 for 6, with a further 4 wickets required. With victory out of the equation for Barnes, survival was the sole aim, with 8 balls to negotiate and 3 wickets in hand. A draw looked to be the inevitable outcome to the contest. However, Hassan claimed his second scalp before Amity, bowling the 52nd and final over of the match, claimed 2 dramatic wickets to secure an improbable victory for the table toppers.
And I've got some more concerts for you here. This time, Grange Park Methodist Church. There's one on Saturday the 4th of August, Trio Isimses, and they're piano, violin and cello. Saturday the 1st of September, Julian Jacobson, who is a pianist, and Saturday the 20th of October, Keith Nichols, who is a jazz pianist. All of these concerts are held at Grange Park Methodist Church, which is on the corner of Old Park Ridings and Park Drive, N21 2LS. They are free, but there will be a retiring collection. And for each one, there will be coffee from 10:15 a.m. and the recital will commence at 11:30 a.m. and will last an hour.
And I have details of a children's tree trail at Broomfield Park. Every Wednesday and Sunday during August, 2:30 till 4:30 p.m, Broomfield Conservatory, Broomfield Park N13. Every Wednesday and Sunday during August, pick up a free children's tree trail at Broomfield Conservatory and explore the trees at Broomfield Park. Take it back to the conservatory to the volunteers, there for the answer sheet and a small prize. No need to book, just turn up on the day and collect your sheet. Remember to hand in your sheet before the closing time. Tickets are free.
And now, sport. Couple of headings. Spurs youngsters set to visit Enfield for pre-season encounter, and trialists on target as Town triumph in first friendly. And that's the one we start with. Enfield Town kicked off their pre-season campaign on Saturday with a routine 3-0 victory at Spartan South Midlands Premier Division side Wembley, a match played on the 3G pitch next to Vale Farm. Town boss Andy Leese made the most of a string of absences to cast his eye over a number of hopefuls seeking to earn a place in the Enfield squad for the new Bostik Premier Division season. The Towners had to make do without the services of Ryan Blackman, Billy Bricknell, Matt Mitchell-King, Lewis Taff and Sam Youngs through a combination of holidays, travel problems and personal reasons, a series of circumstances that left Leese thin on the ground. But undeterred, the visitors took a first-half lead as defender Matt Johnson connected from a corner delivered by one of the plethora of Enfield trialists and promptly fired home. Wembley had held their own in spells, however, but the superiority and gulf between the two teams, a full 2 divisions, would show as the game wore on. Indeed, Enfield would grab a further 2 goals to put the gloss on an efficient display, both of which arrived courtesy of trialists. First, good pressing from the Towners forced a mistake from the Wembley goalkeeper, who surrendered possession and then watched helplessly as Enfield rolled the ball home. There was then a touch of Route 1 about goal number 3. Junior Mumbiayi picked out Mickey Parcell, and intricate build-up play ended with Jack Hockney teeing up another trialist for the 3rd. Meanwhile, all eyes will quickly turn towards a marquee friendly on Monday, July the 23rd, when Enfield Town host Tottenham Hotspur's development squad at the Queen Elizabeth II Stadium, kick-off 7:45 p.m. That's Monday, July the 23rd. Wayne Burnett's side will provide a good test of how town's preparations are shaping up for the new season when they make the short trip as part of their warm-up for the new Premier League 2 campaign. The game will follow Enfield's pre-season matches against Beaconsfield Town and a weekend doubleheader at Cheshunt, where the Towners will play matches against both the hosts and league rivals AFC Hornchurch. Tickets will be available only on the gate, so fans are advised to arrive early to avoid turnstile congestion, and are priced at £10 for adults, £6 for concessions and £1 for under-16s. Moreover, with just 3 weeks to go until the beginning of the new Bostik Premier Division season, the anticipation crept up a notch following the release of the league fixtures last week. Enfield will begin the new season with a trip to Folkestone Invicta on Saturday, August the 11th, kick-off 3 p.m, followed by a home game against Bishop Stortford on Tuesday, August the 14th, with a 7:45 p.m. kick-off. AFC Hornchurch are the visitors on Saturday, August the 18th, followed by a trip to Sussex to face Burgess Hill Town on Saturday, August the 25th. August's programme is completed on the bank holiday weekend with a short trip to Wingate and Finchley on Monday, August the 27th.
We have reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening. So from the team of Kitty, John, Ali and Peter on the controls, it's
Cheerio!
Please remember to turn over the address label in your postal packet. Put the memory stick into the packet in a closed position and return it to us as soon as possible, in readiness for the next edition. Don't forget you can call Diane de Jersey regarding any help you may require in connection with Enfield Talking Newspaper on 020 8805 6578. Coming up next, the latest news and information for the Greater London area from InfoSound. The Enfield Talking Newspaper will be with you again in 1 week's time.